season. Mercer leads the all-time. Kickoff, as you know, is Saturday at 6 p.m. here at 5 Star. It's going to be Hometown Heroes Night. With that, we'll bring up head coach Mike Jacobs.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody after our bye week. Appreciate y'all being here today. Obviously, coming off a tough loss to a much improved Presbyterian team, and one where no one is satisfied with how we coached, with how we played, how we executed coming out of that game. And kind of just to sum up that real quickly, when you lose a game that you feel like you should have played better in, you got to look at everything that you're doing. And it starts with us as a coaching staff. It's my job as a head coach to make sure that our players are physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to play on game day. There weren't any indicators. Like, I thought we had a good week of practice going into it. But then carrying it over into game day, what we're seeing is, we had a number of mistakes made, and we're playing with great effort, but we're missing a few things. So we as coaches have to peel it all back and look at what we're doing. Are we asking the players, are we putting the players in positions to try to do things that maybe they're not ready to achieve yet from just a standpoint, because we do have a young football team. Once we get by that, how are we teaching? Because ultimately we are teachers, and that goes into our meetings. Are we figuring out how they best learn, whether it's forcing them to take notes, whether it's asking them questions, putting them on the board, sending them daily tests and quizzes? Are we getting the information across, and is it being received and learned, not just written down? And so we looked at all those things. And then we look at how we practice. Yes, we've had a ton of success over the last decade, but we want to make sure that we're not just doing the same things over and over again. And I think with a young team, we had to take a long look. And in this instance, would I've loved to have had a game this past Saturday, kind of try to get that bad taste out of our mouth, most certainly. But I think a bye week was really beneficial for us because it allowed us to dive into what we're doing in practice. And we changed a bunch of stuff. Went full go on 2 of the days and got after guys and scrimmaged, and the quarterbacks were live. And what we have was, last year we had a group of individuals that we're probably functioning at a master's or even a doctoral level, and right now we're in Math 500 or Math 100, and we got to make certain that we're giving our kids opportunities not just to learn, but we're placing them in those stressful situations in practice as much as we can to mimic game-like situations. So the bye week gave us an opportunity to do that. So certainly disappointed in the outcome, disappointed in how we coached and how we played, but we're not Chicken Little, right? The sky's not falling. There's a bunch of football left to play, and we still have great players, and we got good kids that really care. We understand that, everybody, no one's happy, and the fans certainly have that right. That means we have high expectations, and that's what we want. That's why we came to Mercer. It's what we expect, and so it's our job to work diligently to make sure when we take the field Saturday to play this Wofford team, that we're in a much better space and ready to play. And that'll be on us and the players in our preparation. So moving into the Wofford week, playing a team that is a little bit like us right now, right? We've been anemic on offense, and we got to get it going. The best way I can describe it is we're a bit out of rhythm, right? It's like me trying to dance at a wedding. We are not on schedule early downs, which has presented a lot of third down and long situations for us, and we got to get that corrected. And you do that by winning first and second down, and then from there we have to execute on third down on both sides of the ball. If you look at the tail of the tape in the Presbyterian game, they were nearly 50% on critical downs, and we were 28%, and that isn't going to get it done. And Wofford's been a bit of the same way. They've played really good defense, but they've not produced a ton on offense yet, but certainly more than capable. We know we'll have quite a challenge coming in. Obviously, we're getting into SoCon play. And as you see kind of throughout the country and certainly throughout the conference, I think everybody's going through some growing pains right now between the portal and some new rosters and things like that. And so we have a massive opportunity to come in and play well this weekend against a quality opponent, and we're expecting our kids to bounce back with great resiliency. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Is there one thing you can say that you can take away positively from the Presbyterian game? Tough watch, you guys fought hard for it, but was there one thing you guys felt you did really well?
Yeah, I think when you put on the film, the effort's there. Like, there's not guys loafing and that's forcing bad plays. A lot of what we're doing boils down to execution. And again, it starts with us as coaches, making sure we're not asking too much of them, or especially with the younger roster, right? When you got a kid that's, he may have only played 13 plays in his college career compared to, a linebacker like Isaac Dowling that literally had played almost 3,500 in his career. Are we putting them in position to be successful? So, yes, there's mental errors, and we have to coach through that and make sure that we get them right. But there was no lack of effort, and ultimately we were in it at the end of the game. I thought, if I'm gleaning anything from a bad loss, when you saw us function in the 2-minute drill at the very end of the game, we were reasonably in position to have a shot at the end zone because we moved the ball down the field, and I think those are things to build on coming out of it.
I know you talk about being a creature of habit, you do kind of the same things every day, but as a coach on a bye week, what are you doing outside of, say, the football field, the film room, practice field, anything? What are you doing to kind of get yourself in just separate yourself from
Me personally, or us as a team? Me personally, listen, man, I try to get around my family. They give up a lot, and they're highly invested in what we do, and so try to spend a little bit of extra time. I'm looking forward to it. My 9-year-old's got his first football game tonight in pads, so shout out to the 3rd and 4th grade FPD Vikings as they get rolling to crank up their season this evening. But no, I try to get around them, and honestly, man, I dwell on that loss longer than I probably should have. So.
Well, coming off the bye week, week to week, obviously things change. What do you want to see from your guys going into this match with Wofford?
Yeah, I want to see us prepare better. I want to make sure that we aren't, and again, I didn't sense it, but I want to make sure that our intent and our urgency of practice are where they need to be to make sure that we have purposeful reps every time we take a rep, and that we're not just doing it to get through a Tuesday to say we've ran the plays, and that everything has a reason, there's a purpose, and every rep has to be treated as if it's a game-like situation. And I think with a young team, they don't always understand that urgency. So again, we've done some things to put them in game-like situations. Even if we're not tackling guys to the ground, we're functioning closer to a game where we're moving the sticks and coordinate. Everybody's off on the side. Coordinators are forced to react themselves because it's not just the players, it's the coaches, and we got to do a better job in responding when we need to react in those situations. So we've changed that, but intent and urgency in our approach to every rep, not just the day and the totality of the week.
Well, you said you put in effort last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. But, what are you seeing from them on tape now versus last year?
Who's that, our players?
Wofford.
They got a lot of veterans back on defense. I think their D-line does a nice job. They move around quite a bit. They're in and out of a variety of fronts. And then I think they have one of the better safeties in the country in the Combs kid. And so you're seeing them, really make it tough on people to gain yardage. Their games have been close. I think South Carolina State's a pretty good football team. Richmond obviously was a ranked team, and they held both of them under 20 points. And so, they're forcing people to do things tough and earn the yardage. So I think they've done that. They've scored a special teams touchdown. And so they're a little bit like us. There's pockets of each game where they're playing really good football. It's going to be who can put 4 quarters together.
Is Octavius Ice going to be back on Saturday?
No, Octavius right now, unfortunately, is dealing with a lower leg injury, and we expect it to be some time.
And then you talked about a lot of young guys growing in the last 2 games. Have you seen one position group or one guy that you feel like has gotten significantly better or really surprised you out of the younger guys?
Yeah, some guys that are being forced into playing quite a bit. You're seeing Kobe McGinnis as a defensive end has played pretty good football for us in these first 2 games, and that's a kid that's 2 games into his college career. Physically he looks like he belongs, and so I'm excited about the progress he's made. KJ Thomas has been a young man due to some other injury that's been forced into playing quite a bit more than he maybe expected to on offense and defense. He'd had a special teams role, and we see him grow. I think the good thing I like about him is that he's taking the coaching. He's extremely coachable, and you're seeing progress. That progress we're looking for, you're seeing it in some of the things that maybe he didn't execute at a high enough level on the game day. We saw it last week in some of the scrimmage situations, so I'm really encouraged by what he's done. And there's a variety of other, but those 2 stand out for me.
You mentioned the changes with practice. Nobody's happy, but how do they respond?
Yeah, I don't know. They had to respond. They had to come out. Part of all of it is seeing, who's willing to put their face on people and who loves football. And it was a little bit of a challenge to see who was going to mope around when we told them we were going to be in full pads and everybody's live and we're tackling to the ground. I want to see who was going to gripe and complain and deflect blame on everything and who was going to show up and just get to work. Right? Jim Cole always says sometimes you just got to get out of the truck and go to work, and that's what we need to do last week. And so we try to put them in as many situations as we could that way. I have a coaching mentor, right? You're a Cleveland guy, Sam Ratigliano. I always just say, right? They're like tea bags. You don't know what you get until you put them in hot water, and we need to do more of that with our young guys, and we got to press them as much as we can. But like I said, there's no tail between the legs. We got way too much football. We got prideful kids who are good football players. They need experience. They need game experience. We need to coach them and lead them, and we need the fans to be super supportive as they've been. They should hold us accountable, but we are expecting to come out. We're expecting to play well, and we expect to be a team that's right there in the thick of it, because again, we're just getting started on what's going to be a tough SoCon slate, and we got everything still in front of us. So we don't have time to feel sorry for ourselves. It's about fixing the things we can and making sure that we put them in great positions that they can execute at a really high level on Saturday.
Anything else for Coach?
Good. Thank you all.
Thanks, Coach. All right, we have two players with us today. First, we'll go to John McConnell, our punter. He's a redshirt senior, hometown Morgantown, West Virginia. Previous school, played at Marshall before he came here. Had 6 punts this year, averaging 40.3 a punt, along with 45. John, if you would come up, give us an opening statement, and then we'll pass the questions on to you.
Yes, sir, yeah. How are y'all doing? Yeah, well, my name's John McConnell. I'm from Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm going into my 5th year punting in college and 2nd year here at Mercer.
After a really good season last year, John, were you hoping to do more of or really accomplish in your final year in college?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just trying to be the best player for this team and help this team have success. I mean, the stats are great, awards or whatever, but, care about winning football games. That's number one.
How do you feel about the Presbyterian game? You're out there a lot, you punted really well, put in a good position for a lot of the game. Just talk about the importance of field position and what you're doing every day.
Yeah, I mean, the hidden yards in the game are very important, and I mean, that's one thing. I had to look at myself critically and, notice 2 touchbacks. I didn't put our gunners in the best position on either of those plays to make a play inside the 5 or the 10. So, I mean, there was definitely room for improvement from my end, but, I guess that's a good thing. There's room for improvement. We can be better, and, I think we look to build on it going into, this week and moving forward.
And you guys have great special teams all last season. What's the positives you've seen so far from the first 2 games?
Well, I mean, I think we've had a lot of really good special teams plays. It's just being more consistent, doing it every time. On punt, every single time has to be a good rep. And, I think we can get to that point, but, myself and the rest of the unit, we just haven't quite done that yet.
What's your favorite kind of punt to hit? An end over end guy, or like a spiral? What's your way to duck the ball?
No, I don't think there's anything better than hitting a big spiral punt that just goes down the field. Everyone's kind of in awe looking at it. Mainly myself, but yeah, I think that's the best punt you can have right there, or my favorite anyway.
Is there a punter you really like in the NFL right now, or it's really just like I don't want to say modeling your team out, but just you're really like in awe because specialists these days are just they're crazy.
Yeah, I know it is nuts. I mean, there are some really, really good players in the NFL, and I mean, even the guys that are battling for those spots. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of guys who are free agents who have, they've been invited to mini camps or tryouts, but they're still not in the NFL, consistently playing. And you look at the guys and like, how are these guys not getting paid millions right now to do this? But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of guys. I mean, A.J. Cole for the Raiders, he's just signed a huge new contract over there, and I mean, he's an outstanding player. And Pittsburgh's punter, Corliss Waven, he's another guy just absolutely crushes the ball. It's really fun to watch as a punter.
As a guy from West Virginia, are you a Steelers fan?
I am a Steelers fan. I do root for him.
Do you clash with Coach a lot about that? He's a Cleveland guy. He's a kind of a Browns fan by association.
We got a couple of Yinzers on staff, so there's a few terrible towels in our office hallway.
All right, anything else for John? All right, thank you, John, appreciate it.
Sir, thank you.
All right, let's go down in the trenches. The guy's played a lot of football, and we're certainly glad to have him back this year. Xavier Jennings, graduate student, offensive lineman, native of Shelby, North Carolina, came to us about previously Lenore Ryan. Xavier, come up and give us an opening statement if you would.
How y'all doing? Good. Xavier Jennings, Shelby, North Carolina.
Xavier, how did you guys feel on the last week's game against Presbyterian? You guys seemed like you were a lot more fluid as a group. You guys, I think it was only 2 sacks allowed. You guys seemed like you were so much more complete group.
Yeah, I mean, we still got to execute. I mean, had a fair amount of MAs, so really just watching the film, really going back to the basics, just trying to correct the little things that we messed up on. I mean, 2 sacks, I mean, you still don't want to give that up, even though it may not seem like a lot, but it is for us. So really just corrections, just reflecting, doing a lot of reflecting on the game.
How are you guys feeling as a group? Obviously, it's your last year. You're a leader in that room. How's things going with you guys as a group?
I feel like we're solid. We're definitely a lot closer than last year in terms of camaraderie and all that. But I would say feeling pretty good about ourselves, coming off a loss and then being able to practice all week, like you said, in 4 pads, a lot of QBs. So even though we didn't have a game this week, still had a lot of confidence from a good week of practice. So.
You came from LR and now you're here. What's the message you're telling the younger guys and the newer guys coming in about kind of the expectations, the culture, and things like that?
Just have a why, have a reason for doing this. I mean, if you do this and you don't have a reason, I mean, it's kind of hard to get through, rough times, hard practices, obviously camp and stuff like that. So I'll just say, just have a reason, have a why.
You guys do anything off the field? Does DJ watch any Rolexes yet?
No Rolexes, but like last night, a lot of the guys from the offensive line room, we watched the game, played some cards, got some food, so yeah, we do stuff like that.
Who's your team then, Xavier? Are you a Panthers fan because you're from North Carolina, or who's your team fan?
I really don't have a team. I mean, growing up, Seahawks, but I don't know. I never really had like a hardcore team I went for. So.
How do you feel about that game yesterday? Were you watching Seahawks yesterday?
I did not. I did not watch the game yesterday.
Is there anybody you look up to, you emulate on the line?
In the NFL?
Yeah, or college?
Yeah. Definitely Trent. I mean, obviously, like you look at a guy like that, physical. It means everything you want to be an offensive lineman. So definitely like Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, technician type guys. So yeah, definitely those two.
What are you seeing from their defensive line this week, Terry?
They do a lot of movement. They're going to give us a lot of different looks. They're physical, but I feel like we're really prepared for that. So, yeah.
This was kind of the case last year for you guys, and I think it applies this year. You utilize a lot of different running backs, right? You're just going out there kind of blocking the same. Do they have different running styles? You guys really care about that, or are you just going out there trying to hit?
Well, obviously we got to focus on our assignment first, but obviously like having the ability to throw in the back and that back be just as good as the other one. So it's like if you're talking about blocking to cater towards their run style, we don't get too into detail about that. I mean, don't want to make it more complicated than it is. So yeah.
Okay, anything else? Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, Saturday should be a great day. As usual, campus activities all day long. Again, it's Hometown Heroes Night. What a great day of activities. Kick off at 6. Hope to see you here. And don't forget to promote the game. And tell everybody Saturday's the place to be in Middle Georgia. It's right here at 5 Star Stadium. Thanks for your time.
It's Yin Yang Twins this weekend, right?
Pardon?
It's Yin Yang Twins this weekend.
Yes, Daniels, that's correct.
You're a big yin yang twins fan.
You know, I was asked that at the creek the other morning, and I just said, sure, yeah.
Sure. What's your favorite?
And they actually wanted to know, you know, if I could chat or sing along, and I said, you know, I said the weekend we had the Towns last year, I was great. The Towns was my music. These guys, you know, but I'll support Yin Yang, yes. Daniel, anything else you want to say about Blackfield?
It'll be a great day. Get perfect weather. Be there early for Saturday.
All right.
Favorite win.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. Media members, please feel free to eat first, and we'll see you again